I just realized that the original Kingdomino came out in 2016. That's like almost 10 years ago. Where has life gone?
Welcome to Cloudy with a Chance of Meeples, a channel of conversation and board games.
Hey, my name is Brent here on Cloudy with a Chance of Meeples. Today we are looking at Kingdomino Origins. We're going back in time to prehistoric times, and we're still going to be building a 5x5 grid out of dominoes in this spatial puzzle game, which I just realized that the original Kingdomino came out in 2016. That's like almost 10 years ago. Where has life gone? Wow. Anyways, we are going to look at how this one plays. There's 3 different modes in Kingdomino Origins. I'll show you how that plays in the radar overview. My final forecast coming up. Cue thunder. So the radar overview for Kingdomino Origins looks something like this. Kingdomino Origins plays 3 different ways. You have 3 different modes. You have the discovery mode, you have the totem mode, as well as you have the tribe mode. I'm going to explain how each of these work. Virtually they all use the dominoes in a way that you're creating a grid, a 5x5 grid. But in the totem mode, you'll be using resources as well as these totem scoring tiles. And then in the tribe mode, you'll also be using these resources, which I will say are pretty fantastic. You'll be using these resources as well as these character tokens, in which will score your, I guess, your tableau or your 5x5 domino grid in different ways. But yeah, these resources, they're screen printed. They look pretty cool. I love the mammoth per se. But how does this play? If you've played the original Kingdomino, this will sound very, very familiar. But I'll just give you a quick overview as to how this plays if Kingdomino is new to you. I will say each player starts with a starting tile that acts as a wild. You can put any terrain type around that, as well as a little hut, and then meeples or characters of that color. So you have the black, you have pink, blue, and green, which I also say these are fantastic. But I'm just gonna pretend that these would be my 4 consecutive turns. You'll be drafting these tiles, and depending on where you place your cave person, each round will reflect your turn order for the future rounds. But I'm just gonna use these 4 tiles as an example. So say this was my first one to start the game. I can put this anywhere around my hut because, again, the hut space counts as wild. And then say my next turn, I take these. Well, I can't touch any of this because they don't match. You don't have to have both of them matching, but at least one of them has to. So let's say I put this like that. My future turn after that, I do something like this, and this will start helping me because it has a fire token, and that's how you score the majority of your points, because at the end you'll look at all of your terrain types and you'll count up how many fire tokens are in each of the connected terrain types, and they will multiply. And I'll explain how that works momentarily. And then say my next one is this one. Anytime you draft a tile that has a volcano, you see how many, I guess, eruptions are taking place, in this case 2, and you get the matching token. This has 2 fire images. You flip it over and it will show you how far away from this volcano this eruption will take place. So up to 2 spaces. So I could put it here, I could put it here. You can go diagonal, so I can go 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. But let's just say I'm going to go up here for now. And then I continue to build my grid. As you can see, I'm 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm as wide as I can go right now. So I could go something like that. And oh, and I got another volcano. So let's do this. So at this point, this would be the widest and the tallest my grid could be, because I'm 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 by 5. I would get this, so then I would take this single volcano token. I flip it over and I see, oh, I can move up to 3 spaces. So 1, 2, 3, or maybe I just go 1, 2, 3. So that's how you play kind of the discovery mode. Hopefully you build your kingdom in a way that you don't have any holes, because that's no fun. And then you go into endgame scoring, and then you would look at the crowns, or not crowns, that's in Kingdomino, but the fire tokens or the fire images even printed on the tile times how many spaces in that terrain type. So water, 0 points. These two would give me 0 points, but these plains would give me 1, 2, 3, 4 times 1 is 4 points, and then the grass area would be 3 times 3 would be 9. So that in a nutshell is how you play just the straight discovery mode of Kingdomino. When you play with the totem mode, you then bring in these scoring tiles as well as the resources. And as if you notice, each of these resources, while some of them have it on both sides, but some only on one and some not at all, but they have little resource tokens. So as soon as you draft that tile or that domino and put it into your little tableau here, you collect these resources. Whoever has the majority of these resources throughout the game will then get these corresponding tiles. So if I had the most mammoths compared to all my opponents, I would take this in front of me. As soon as someone would get more mammoths than me, they would take this. So this will pass around. All of these will pass around until at the end of the game. When the game's over, everybody counts up to see who has the most of each of them, and whoever has the most of each of them will collect these points. I'll also say that these resources are then also 1 point each at the end of the game in the totem mode. And then finally you have the tribe mode, and that's when these characters come in. And you can, when you draft these draft these dominoes and you get these resources, you can then spend the resources. So imagine I just drafted this one, and so I'm going to go here. First I would put this on. I would get this mammoth because it's on there, and then this can go up to 3 weight. If I would put it on here, I'd pretty much just burn up this mammoth, so I don't want to do that. And I can't put it on something that already has a fire token, so let's just go here. I can do that after I've then placed those tiles and the fire token. I can then spend any 2 different resources then to purchase one of these 4 tiles, and this will just help you score different ways. So you have these hunters, and they kind of score in groupings. They kind of work as the crowns as well, or in this case the fire token. So right now I don't really think I could put it anywhere. I could put it here. Yeah, I could put another one here, because again, they can't go on locations that have resources or a fire token. So these would score at the end. 2 plus 2 is 4 times 2 is 8 points. So they virtually score the same as these fire tokens. But say you have, this character, 5 points for each of these flint in each of the 8 spaces around. So in this case, it would be worth 5 points. This is the same, but just with the fish. And then this is similar, but with the fire token. So if it was like this, then I get 1, 2, 3 for this fire lady. And then so there's a whole bunch of different ones. Mammoths will score 4 points for each of the mushrooms. So there's different ways to score, and you spend any 2 resources, or you can spend 1 of each resource then to go through this whole stack and take whichever tile you want. So that's how you play Kingdomino Origins. Like I said, there's 3 modes, and the rulebook explains it quite nicely. There's a nice notepad, score pad that you can, write everything. You just go down. It's a little small. You just go down each of these and fill in the score, the total at the end. You can play that. You get a 10-point bonus if your hut is in the middle, as well as a 5-point bonus if you don't have any holes. And so there you go. That, in a nutshell, is how you play Kingdomino Origins. Let's move on over now and check out the final forecast. So the final forecast for Kingdomino Origins. Kingdomino, a game that I've enjoyed for many years. As mentioned at the top of the video, the original came out in 2016. Fast forward now, 2024, almost 8 years later, people are still talking about Kingdomino. Of course, Origins didn't come out recently. It came out in 2021, I believe. And this has fantastic components, much like the original Kingdomino. It's got these nice, thick domino tiles that have just cool little Easter eggs on them, whether it's like, a sloth that reminds you of Sid from Ice Age, or a dodo bird and some sheep with tusks. Each of the 48 domino tiles just have some cool little Easter eggs that you can look at while you're playing the game. You got these resources. They look absolutely fantastic. The mammoths, the mushrooms. I'm not a mushroom fan, but I'll take it. Flint, as well as the fish. Overall, the components in this are fantastic. They fit in the box. I love the meeples, the little cave people meeples that you use to pick and draft your tiles. Just components, fantastic. Let's talk about the gameplay. So this has 3 different modes to play. You got the discovery, you got the totem, and you got the tribe mode. I'm going to talk about each of them a little bit. The discovery mode is pretty much Kingdomino. Okay, it's almost the same. The big difference is those volcano tiles and how they erupt, and how you can then kind of manipulate your own board to get like those multipliers. Of course, in the original one, it had more crowns printed on those tiles, whereas in this one, there are less crowns or less fires printed on the tiles, but it's made up for with these volcano tiles and these tokens. And I like that, and I like how each game then you can kind of, manipulate your own grid as to where you're going to put those fire tokens to build your own multipliers. I love that. I found in the base game or the original Kingdomino, often I was just picking the cheapest or like the lowest valued tile, so I can always pick first. I found that I did that over and over and over again, and others would just go to the opposite end and they would just take the mine, and they would take some of these, more rare terrains with higher crowns, and they would win that way, and I'd be able to win the way I would play, picking some of these like the weaker tiles per se. And I think this balances things out a little bit with these volcano tiles, because just the way that you can then manipulate your grid, I like that a lot more. So the discovery mode, if you're new to Kingdomino, you can just jump into that and you can learn that pretty quickly. The totem mode then adds these resources, and whoever has the most resources of each type then get those bonus tiles at the end of the game. So you're going to have a little bit more player interaction. Not only are people going to be taking the tiles that you want, but they'll be getting resources and then maybe taking those totem tiles, which could win you the game or lose you the game. Because if I get one that's +4 and I take it away from you, there's 8-point difference between me and you. So I like that, a little bit more interaction. I would say I probably like that one the least out of the 3. But my favorite one is actually the tribe mode, when you get all those characters that you spend the resources. So you kind of have a little bit of, not really resource management, but kind of, because you take tiles and then you get those resources on them, but then you use them to then attract different ways that you can score. And depending on how you're building up your grid each turn or each game, and how that progresses, will reflect on which of these cave people tiles that you're going to, these tribe tiles that you're going to then add to your, I guess, kingdom. And so I really like that. They each of them cost, like any 2 resources, or you can use one of each of the resources, all 4, to pick any tile. And of course, normally 4 resources will get you 2 tiles, or one that you specifically want, so you can dive in that pile and maybe get that warrior, that 3-point warrior, and you have a big cluster of warriors, And that could be a really big thing for you because they score much like the crowns or the fire multipliers. But overall, absolutely fantastic game. I like this one more than the original Kingdomino. So for me, this is an 80% chance of meeples because I feel this is adding something that Kingdomino kind of lacked, because I feel that when I play Kingdomino, I would kind of get into a rut and always take the same tiles. But in this one, depending on which mode you're playing and where the volcano tiles, when they come out, and the resources, and you're collecting those, and I just love this one more. So to me, this replaced Kingdomino. So I got rid of my original Kingdomino, and now I have Kingdomino Origins. And you get a bigger box, but you have 3 ways to play. So if you're teaching someone brand new, maybe just do the discovery mode. Maybe you're a gamer, you've played games many, many years, and you want just a little bit more, then maybe that tribe mode or the totem mode would be more for you. It says on the box 25 minutes, and I think that's accurate. Discovery mode might be around that 15-minute Kingdomino time frame. But maybe the totem and the tribe mode, there's a little bit more going on, so it might take a little bit longer. But overall, 80% chance of meeples for Kingdomino Origins. Absolutely fantastic. I love it. Check it out. Check us out on Facebook, Cloudy with a Chance of Meeples. Until next time, grab your umbrella. The forecast is cloudy with a chance of meeples.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and remember to grab your umbrella because the forecast is cloudy with a chance of meeples.